there, kids! Welcome to the Chada Mecha live stream. I'm your host, Tim, the one and only Chada Mecha, and it is Thursday. Thirsty Thursday. Here we go. If you tuned in last night, we got some good plating done up on the boosters and everything like that. These are starting to take shape pretty well, I think. So we're going to continue working on those here today. And then, just continue on and see kind of where this whole thing takes us. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, anywho, if you guys are out and about on the internet, the big wide world web, go get you some Mecha Decals. MechaDecals.com for more specifics. Anyway, also too, if you are in the arena for some awesome shirts, hats, hoodies, stickers, things like that, shop.chadamecha.com has got what you need. So go peruse that. Support your boy. It'll be fun. It's good stuff. All right, so real quick, let's just get caught up here with everything. Mr. Kelvin Branham is in the chat. He starts us off here. Anybody home? Chada Mecha, are you here? No? Okay, I'll wait. Waiting. I'll be back later, okay? 5 long minutes to go. Tim, are you here? No? Okay. Okay, be back later. Taking the pup out for number 2. Love it. And then he says, hello there, Tim. Hi, Kelvin. Hi, Kelvin. And then also we have Mr. Apex Nerd. He says, hey, Timothy. Hello, Mr. Apex Nerd. What's going on, gents? All right, so without any further ado, let's just jump into it. Yeah, let's get to work. All right, let's go camera 2. All right. So, here's basically what we got done last night. We've got, all of this nice and even, flattened, looking really, really good. This is all, melded kind of into the surfaces and everything. All smoothed out, contoured, all that stuff. Just looking really nice. Once that's painted up, you wouldn't even know that, there's a amalgam of different sheets and things under there. So I'm pretty happy with this so far. This is looking good. So let's get this guy off of here. There we go. Hope I didn't scratch this up. Nope, he's good. All right, cool deal. So, all right. So I think what we're going to do is kind of continue on with the look of this thing here. Now, I do like the look of these kind of rail fin type of things right here. So I think what I want to do is continue this down a bit. Now, what we are going to run into are these kind of steps right here in the geometry, right? And you can kind of see they're on both sides, and that's just because of these different panels and things here. So what I think I'm gonna do is run some 1x1 strip right down to that that step, and then end the kind of rail looking feature. I think I'll end it there, and Yeah, I think that'll look pretty good. So let's get this cut here. Now I'm going to taper one end, the end that's going to stop at this this kind of stair step feature here. Yeah, okay. Boom. Alright, so there's one piece. Excuse me. And then should be able, let's see. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. All right. So before we apply these, I just want to get these kind of even. All right, good deal. All right, so we've got our two pieces there. Now we're going to, geez, how are we gonna do this? I may want to do this with super glue, just so that we can fill in the voids and everything like that. I think I may want to go that route. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. All right, let's go the super glue route. I'm torn because if I go super glue, it's such a small surface area, but then again, I want the glue to fill the voids and everything too, which like Plastic Magic is not gonna do all that well. So rock in a hard place, but we'll go with it. See how it goes. All right. Okay, that's good. Okay. All right, I think that looks pretty decent. there. Get a little drop of right there. Good deal. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing to the other side here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Do the same thing to this side, little kicker. Good, 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 good. All right, excellent. So we've got our kind of rails extended down here. And we'll trim those up here next. Let me get the kind of excess activator wicked up here. All right. And then we just start to even these things up. Very nice. All right, so let's see if we can get in here with the nippers a little bit. Not a ton of space there. Just trying to trim out this little bit here, but let's see what we can do with the knife. I don't want to put a lot of stress on this part. that's looking pretty good. All right. So one thing that I'm running into with this side is that the geometry is not exactly the same as it is on this side. Reason why I say that is because with this, you know, kind of rail thing here, it runs right to the edge of this of the piece, right? This one does not. There's maybe a half millimeter, not even, space there between the rail and the piece itself, because this is the side that has the thruster cowl on it, right? So I may need to crack this and reposition it, because I'm not exactly completely enthused by the position of it, but let me see what we can do here. Okay. All right, that side is nice and smooth, blended in, looking pretty good. I like that. That looks good. Now this side, like I said, we may need to crack that. Decisions, kids. This is what happens when you run into weird geometry like this. Yeah, fuck it. Alright, so basically I got my little duckbill pliers here, and I'm going to try and grip this thing and just, yep, there she goes. Alright. Came off clean. Alright. Alright, that's trash, because you can't reuse that part. It's just not gonna, it's not gonna be very neat and clean. So we're gonna have to recreate that little strip. But let me clean out the previous squeeze out here. And I'll show you kind of what I mean here. Let's see if we can get it on camera. See how, where's my little pointer thingy here? so on this side, right, there's this edge here, and you can see that. It's about, like I said, probably less than a ½ millimeter right along here of this edge, because this is, again, the side where the thruster cowl is. And then you've got this section here that is, you know, a bit proud of this area, and then this area down here. So you've got this raised bit right here. So what I think I'm going to have to do is run the strip on the inside of that to marry it up to everything else. So probably should have thought about that before, but you know, hindsight being what it is and everything. All right, let's remake this this strip here. All right. Let's try this again here. I think the alignment on this is much, much better. Yep. Yeah, that's infinitely better. Difference between night and day. Very good, very good. All right. Let's let that set up here real quick. Let's just get it caught up in the little bit of chat that we have here. Bill's with us. Hey, he says, howdy, y'all. Bill says, I mean, you can use Tamiya extra thin to attach it, then come back and fill the voids with super glue. Yeah. And I kind of thought that, but I wanted to also move a little bit faster on this. It's not nearly as brittle and fragile as I thought it might have been, but you know, it is what it is. I think this will be perfectly fine. He says you don't really have to only use one or the other. True. Mike Dawson's with us. Good morning, everyone. Mikey, how are you, sir? Tim's favorite movie? Big Green. Why? Because he loves a little kicker. Hey-o. Let's see. Bill says, okay, I'm going to be in this corner over here. Oh, a pair of Howard the Ducks. Nice. Everyone is so talkative today, right? Big time. Kelvin says, used Mecha Decals on my last side small plate projects. Call it plastic plate art or Gunpla art. Yeah, I saw that on the community last night there, Kelvin. It looks good. Looks really good. Yeah, I know EA Gunpla kind of made that big and stuff like that. I've done bits like that. Nothing to that finish, but yeah, for practice, it's those little plates are really, really good practice. And basically what Kelvin did was he just took a piece of plastic sheet, just, you know, 2 inches by 2 inches maybe, something like that, something small. And then he did some scribing, painted the different panels and stuff, different colors and all that, laid down Mecha Decals. And then he did a little bit of weathering on one and everything, and it looked really, really good. So, yeah, very nicely done. Very nicely done. So, good practice there. It's good practice. All right. So, this looks, like I said, infinitely better than it did before. Let's get this trimmed up here. Okay. Just want to be very, very careful with cutting this super glue squeeze out off here. So I don't want to re-crack this part now that I've got it glued on here, you know. That would be bad. There we go. All right, yeah, that looks much better. Yeah, and that makes the makes that kind of stair step feature even more prominent, I think, right there. So that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Just going to use the good old 1mm here for getting this super glue out of here. Looks pretty good. All right, leave that there. this guy trimmed up here. Good. Let's try and get this really, really nice and smooth here with the file plate. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So, just a little bit more. Clean up here, just a little scraping. Good deal. All right, there we go. So that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm digging that. I'm digging that. All right, let's see. Let's see. Peter's with us, Mr. Almanacs. What's going on, Peter? Good to see you, buddy. Mr. Brian Lelouch, he says hello, everyone. Very good. And then Kelvin says, thank you, Master Jedi. Plates are 3 1/4, so the size of a G.I. Joe. Technically, it's 3 3/4, but still, I jest. What's going on, kids? So, light day in the chat today. Very, very light day in the chat, so feel free. But, yeah, just trying to get some shit done here. But I think this is looking really, really good. We've extended these kind of rail fin wall things here down, kind of the part of the length of this slope here, and I think that that looks pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Peter says, just came home from a traumatic experience, filling up the car with gas at $9.72 per gallon here in Denmark. Holy shit, dude. Getting hard to argue against getting an EV at those prices. Holy shit, man. I now see, Peter, you got me curious in terms of what the cost what the conversion price is here between Denmark and the U.S., right? Let's see. So the Danish krona. So $1 is 648 Danish kroner. Krona? I don't know. All right. So with that being said, what was it? 972. Let's see. 72. Wow. Holy fucking shit, buddy. Let me just... Jeez. Okay. So... Woof. Pete, that is a whole $1.50 here in the U.S. Yeah. So... price was... 1685 DKR per liter. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so if we do the conversion, that's $1.50 per gallon in Denmark. For comparison's sake, Pete, it is about $4.20 here per gallon. So that would be 27.24 DKR per gallon if you were to get gas here in the States. Fucking crazy. But then again, you aren't, you guys are obviously, different country and all, so. But yeah, man. Yeah. $4.20 a gallon here. In where I live. It varies, obviously, throughout the U.S., but still, it's crazy. It's crazy. Let's see. Mike says, 2 more days of work, and I have the weekend off. Hey-o, Swanky's with us. He says, hello, everyone. Swank, how are you, buddy? Mike says, also, the dealership called me yesterday, and they don't know what's wrong with it. I'm told they have 60 error codes reading as stored, and that's it. Huh. And that's not taking into account what it costs in Cali. Well, that's for sure. That's for damn sure, yeah. So convert to dollars and multiply it by 3.785. All right, let's do that here. 3.785. Oh, come on, calculator. 3.785 times $1.50. Jesus. A whole $5.67. 68 if you round up, but still. $5.68. Jeez. Fair enough. I'm moving to Denmark. Pete, can I live with you, buddy? That would be nice. Ay. And and from what I hear, the Danish are fucking happy people too, man. Like, fucking, like, come on. If only. If only. One can dream. Okay. Very good. Very, very good. All right. We need to fill in this little gap here between the plating and the initial plate that's underneath this vent. So to do that, we're going to pull back the glue plate here, which I think I'm going to have to replace soon because that's getting gnarly. But let's get our little needle applicator cleaned off here. Better. All right. Now, Peter. So, let's see. He says, yeah, always in top 3 on the World Happiness Index, but prices like that might make me drop a few spots. Now, let me ask. Like, I'm being totally serious. Now, is the price that you paid? Is that legitimately a high price in Denmark for gas? Because I'm actually curious about that, because, like, you know, doing the conversion and everything, like here, like, we haven't seen those prices in shit 25, 30 years. You know, that low for gasoline. Yeah, I mean, for us over here in the States, like, you know, we'd give an arm and a leg to pay those prices, you know, but I'm kind of curious if that is, like, legitimately a high price in Denmark, you know what I mean? So yeah, let us know, because I am, like, you've piqued my interest here, you know. Andrew's with us. He says, "Yo, what's going on, Andrew?" He says, "I thought gas prices here in Illinois were bad." Yeah, right. Swanky says, "I could only dream." Yeah, for real, right? I know in California, Swanky, you got to be paying like crazy high prices for gas right now. But yeah, here right around where I live, it's about $4.20 a gallon. Yeah, I think that's a little higher than the national average. I think national average is like $4.10, something like that. Yeah. Let's see. Pete says, "I think you effed up your calculation. You want to pay almost $10 per gallon." No. So like I said, here, let me show you. Display capture. So $4.20, according to this, $4.20 US is 24 Danish krone, right? So yeah, if you're paying, what was it, 972? Yeah, so 972. So if we put in 972, 72, yeah, it converts to $1.50 US. So now, mind you, again, I'm just going by this here. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, Andrew says, "I think it's $4.40 in Illinois at the moment." Yeah, like I said, it varies all over the damn place. One day it's, 20 cents higher, 30 cents lower, yada yada. So yeah, it's tough all the way around. Which then it makes everything else cost more, because transportation and shipping, all of that. So yeah, so it is what it is. But yeah, Pete, like I said, doing the conversion Yeah. From what you paid, it's like $1.50 here in the U.S., which is not a lot. It's shit, almost well, less than half of. No shit, what is that? That's, yeah, way less than half of what we're paying right now. So yeah. Anywho, all right. Let me get these voids filled in here. Okay. Good deal there. Let's see. All right. So 16 DKR per liter equals $2.59 in dollars times the 3.785 to convert per liter to per gallon. Okay. So yeah, see, I was just going off of what you were saying earlier there, Peter. What was it? Yeah, 972 per gallon here in Denmark. Huh. So I'm not sure where the math is hinky. Yeah, I'm not sure. C'est la vie. Anywho, Rich James, he says we have 340 in Louisiana, 369 average for regular. Oil prices are somewhat lower, so it could drop a little more if the trend continues. Yeah, I mean, and you guys have the have refineries down there too. You know, here in Maryland, you know, everything is basically shipped in from you know, other places where there are refineries, the Carolinas and things like that. So, you know, we don't have a ton of, you know, refinery places here. So, yeah. Julius is with us. What's up, Mr. J? And Todd, he says hi. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Andrew says, so funny story of the day. I put a lot of 17 deluxe scale transformers up for sale on eBay. Listed them with a buy it now price of $175. Some toy reseller out of Virginia tried to lowball me. Was trying to get the lot for $110. Okay, I'm sure there's more. So we'll wait for Andrew. So let me see something here. Okay. All right, so 1685 DK. I'm still on the math here. I'm still on the math here, Pete. 1685 DKR per liter, right? Okay, so per liter, and there's 3.78. See, that's, hold on. So I think that's where the breakdown is, right? Because yeah. Okay. So Pete, I think that's where the breakdown was, because you said filling up the car with gas at 972 per gallon. And I was assuming that was, DKR. Or were you talking USD at that point? So that might have been on me and my assumption, because I thought you were talking about DKR 972 rather than USD. So that might be it. Well, shit, never mind then if that's the case. Never mind. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Whew, boy. Anyway. Let's see. Andrew says, I think I went low enough on the price considering most sellers sell them for $15 a piece. Pete says the Danish government decided that at the onset of COVID to not subsidize gas, but put those funds toward health and human services. Thus, gasoline has gotten really pricey after the Trump's detour. Yeah. Todd says, what a shitty day. He says, sorry. What's going on, what's going on there, Todd? Talk to us, buddy. Let's turn that frown upside down. Well, I wrote 972 per gallon. Yeah, and that was my assumption. That's on me. So, yeah. Sorry about that. I thought you meant DKR at that point. So, yeah. Even though it's the dollar sign, I've seen people not intend USD when they put that in there. So, yeah, that's just my wrong assumption. Sorry. Tim, I'll message you about it after. All good. Well, Todd, I hope everything, works out, buddy. Hope everything works out. So, all right, kids. Let's get back to it, yeah? Let's get back to it. All right. So, we've got our voids filled here. That's looking good. Let's get these trimmed down. So I'm just using my 3mm chisel here. Trying to take off this layer of super glue, but leave, obviously the voids filled and everything here. So just need to be super careful with it. Okay. So, this is starting to look pretty good. Just need to even out the surface here. And what I think I'm gonna do is actually bring the little god hand chisels in here and kind of really smooth this guy out here, because we're starting to get a little stair-stepping action with the BMC a little bit. They're not nearly as sharp as these guys. Oh yeah. Yeah. These BMC blades are just insanely sharp. Oh yeah, that's difference between night and day. Alright. So that's looking pretty good. Just kind of... Alright. Then just try to get a little sanding there. Alright, let's do a little cleanup here, see what we got. Alright. Yeah. Cool. Alright, I dig it. I dig it. That's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. Now I do see just a little bit of squeeze out right here that's bugging me. Attention to detail. Good. Good, good, good. All right, let's put this guy away. Excellent. All right. So there is our kind of finished rail, bumper guard things there, right? Yeah. Looking good. Looking good. All right. So, Pete says, I wish those were the prices. I would never be calling George old. I would be too busy bragging about getting gas practically for free. Dude, tell me about it, right? Yeah, sorry. And that was, my assumption, so that's my bad. That's kind of where the math broke down. It broke down basically between this year and this year is really where it broke down. So, but yeah. Shit, if it was that cheap, oh my god, man. But yeah, $9.72 a gallon, that's insane. That's insane, dude. Todd says, I'm glad the weekend is almost here. Yeah, tell me about it. I'm kind of feeling that same way a little bit. Andrew says, I hope your day improves, Matt. Yeah, for real, right? For real. Pete says, speaking of which, has George ever told you the story about when he lit the fuse for the Big Bang? Jesus, man. Oh, poor George. Poor George. Pete says, BMC what now? Are those the BMC chisel? So I'm using two of them. So this one is the God Hand chisels. These are the ones that are insanely sharp that I use in the little Madworks handle, and these things are amazing. Honestly, I never thought I would ever need something like this, but then once you have it in hand and use it, yeah. I've seen the Japanese modelers on Twitter use these things to a very, very high degree. Smoothing, lowering surfaces, all sorts of different use cases and things like that. And these things are amazing. Like I said, they are extremely, extremely sharp, like razor sharp. So you do have to be careful with them. But to get a good smooth surface, these things are phenomenal. So that's what I was using to more or less smooth that out. Now, obviously, I also have, my normal BMC chisels here too. So those are not the mass production type. Those are the old school, real deal chisels and everything. Yeah, so let's see. Droggle74 over there on Twitch. They say hi, howdy, good to see you. Thank you for watching. Let's see. Geo says, hello everyone. Am late for the party today. Don't know if you're watching Strange New Worlds episode 2 today. If you're a fan of the movie Event Horizon, watch this episode. See, I gotta get caught up. I didn't get a chance to download the first episode last week, Geo. So yeah, I gotta do that because I am a huge, huge Strange New World fan. So yeah. Pete says, well, company's not called God Hand without a reason. Well, that is true, right? That is freaking true. Let's see. Andrew says, I haven't seen it yet, Geo. No spoilers! Yeah, true. No spoilers. Spoiler-free zone, right? Spoiler-free zone. All right. So now we need to figure out kind of what's next on the menu here. Because we're not going to leave this as is at this point. I want to, do a little bit more here. Make this look, nice. Now, first things first, I want to clean up the super glue along this edge here. Just like that. Thankfully, it's on the right side, so I can get the blade in here a little bit easier. There it is. That just chips right out. There it goes. Yeah, all that super glue right there on the surface. That would not be good. Especially right around when you go into paint and everything too, right? So, gotta clean that up. Gotta clean that up. Yeah, there we go. That makes for a nice flat surface, nice sharp corner, all of the above. Now we got to do the same thing to this side here because I can't not do it, you know. But since this is the left side and I'm right-handed, a little bit trickier. And I'm so used to cutting toward myself, right? And I know it's not what you should be doing. That's not, you know, best technique or best practices. You should always be cutting away from yourself, but I always have better control over the blade when I'm cutting toward myself. Okay. There we go. Nice. All right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let's see. Pete says, I'll spoil it. Ends with credits. Ba-dumps. There we go. All right. Kelvin, he has a question for us.
We have a question.
He says, are those spin bits the ones with the starter pin in the middle? No, actually. I'll show you kind of the difference between the two. So these are just straight up chisel style bits. These are flat chisels. They have a very, very sharp angle to them, a very sharp profile. You can see how sharp those are. And then obviously too, you can see it's almost a damn near mirror finish on the grind side, right? And even on the bottom side, I mean, it's just, that grind is just almost perfect. So these are just straight up chisels. But they are extremely sharp. Say in comparison to your BMC chisel, which obviously is more for, your expected normal chiseling practices, right? Scribing lines, doing a little sculpting, things like that. So while these are excellent and the grind on these is very, very good, superior to most. These are just in a whole different category. Now, Kelvin, what you were talking about is these, which are a different product altogether. These are the spin chisels, right? They have the little barb in the middle to kind of, set the chisel in place. Now, the difference is that the taper is on, both sides. So it tapers down into a point, and then obviously you have the barb there, and you can kind of see it. Oh, where did it go? Yeah, you can kind of see it right there, right on the top edge of that bit. So these are the ones for drilling, those kind of shallow, flat holes, and the other chisels that I showed you, those are more for smoothing, shaping, lowering surfaces of the plastic, things like that. So two totally different tools and use cases, but they look obviously very, very similar. So yeah, they're completely different products there. Let's see. Peter has a question for us as well.
We have a question.
He says, what are your thoughts on scribing panel lines in part joints or around extruded elements to emphasize them? Always. Always, 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 always. 100% always. Because you want that separated look, right? I will always do like an outline scribe around a raised piece, right? Case in point, it may not translate on camera, but this part right here, right? This block. Yeah. Yeah. Gross. Hang on, sorry. Anyway, but this block right here that we glued into place, right? Let's see if I can, you can see how I went around and scribed a line around that part. Now, obviously, we glued it in place to make it static, but I still wanted the overall look to be a separate piece, right? So that, in my opinion, is very, very highly important, because then, panel liner can get in there and create that nice deep shadow. Yeah, it's going to look like a separate unit that can be removed and all of that. So yes, I always do some sort of outline scribe for, those kind of raised details, right? For instance here, this is a good example on the shoulder that we worked on here of the Shiki. All of the white strip that we added to this is outline scribed. So, around this whole totality of this piece, it's scribed, right? Even around these little fins here, I went through and intricately outline scribed all the way around the perimeter of these things. Around the, this kind of rail looking thing, that's all outline scribed, all of it. And then even this little plate right here has an outline scribe around it, just to make it look separate from all of the other pieces. Otherwise, it's just going to look like it's glued on, in my opinion. So yeah, if you add a piece of plastic or something new to a part, yeah, in my opinion, you have to make it look like it's a separate piece. Even, native geometry to a part, I think you have to take advantage of the different angles and different geometry and everything too, right? Because like on this section here, you can kind of see how we took advantage of this inside corner right here as a point of separation. So we brought up obviously a vertical panel line from that and played off of that when we did that on, obviously both sides here too. Now, one thing that I was also thinking is that this kind of step here could be a nice little area for, separation as well. Something, where's the pencil? Something like, you put a line right here in the inner corner, right? And then what you can do is just kind of bring this up and then maybe, just back down here. So then that kind of looks like this panel here can just be taken off and, maintenance can get in there and, do their thing, right? So you do have to take advantage of the geometry that the model gives you. But then also sometimes you got to make your own geometry. Case in point here, all of this that we're adding and everything. So, yes, in my opinion, you have to outline scribe raised parts. There's no question about it. And then just take advantage of the geometry, make it look more mechanical at that point, So, yeah. Good question, Pete. Good question. Todd says, looks good, Tim. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Peter says, yeah, I can just make it out on stream. Looks good. Yeah. Brian says, Hyaku parts make metal etch detail parts, correct? I don't think Hyaku makes any like photo etch, if that's what you're talking about, Brian. I don't think they make photo etch, and if they do, I haven't been up on it because I haven't obviously looked at that stuff in several years. But the company, let's see, where's all my here it is. Yeah, so the company, let me get all my little photo etch bits out here and I'll show you kind of what to look for. I know Simp does a bunch of photo etch, right? Simp models right there. They do these little guys, right? Yeah. And I'm not sure if they still sell them on USA Gundam Store or not, but as you can see down there, they looks like they made these specifically, for USA Gundam Store or in cooperation with USA Gundam Store. But yeah, Simp makes a ton of different designs and things like that. But then also too, you've got let's see, you've got this company here, Ocean Spirit, yeah. Otherwise, AW Steel, all rights reserved. Steel Spirit. I've got just an absolute shit ton of these. That's what these look like here. But these are bigger sheets than the Simp parts and everything. Some of the older ones look like this packaging here. Still same company, just you know, older packaging and everything. That AW, I'm not sure, but yeah, Steel Spirit is, I guess, the copyright holder, trademark, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of what I have here, and you got different things. Like these are kind of like almost like cargo bars. You know, you bend these, and they make a nice little bar that you can glue onto your piece, you know, so it has like hook attachments and things like that. But yeah, Hyaku mostly make like metal detail parts that are not photo etched. So like different mold shapes, circle, you know, types of things, spikes, thrusters, nozzles, things like that. So, but yeah. Let's see. Brian says, that's what I thought. I sold all of mine a long time ago, and I need them now again. Oops. Oh, shit, yeah. Let's see. I think Simp is slowly dying. They haven't released any new products since COVID and aren't even restocking their website. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because you got to think, like, especially with, like, Mecha Decals. We haven't done shit. We haven't had a new sheet in years, unfortunately. But it's just, yeah, that's kind of the way of things, unfortunately, for, you know, the small fish. So it just is kind of what it is. So, but, you know, hopefully we get back to that, slowly kind of building that back up to the point. Hey, Dashi, Dashi. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Welcome over there on Twitch. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the family. Good to have you. Thank you for watching. But you know, like I said too, you know, we're slowly trying to build back up to where we were before, you know, the whole mess. And, you know, we're getting there. We're getting there. So it's baby steps, and it's a process, and it's a, you know, it's a consistent process. And that was kind of one of the hard lessons that I had to learn, because, you know, when I got back into this whole streaming thing, you know, several months ago, you know, I knew it wouldn't be what it was before, but I thought that I thought it'd have a little bit of a stronger showing than what it has been. And it's built up over time, don't get me wrong, and I'm not complaining. It's just, you know, one of the kind of things that caught me off guard a little bit. So, but yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, and that's why you build, right? That's why you build things. That's why we build our, you know, the live stream back up and all of it. So it's a process, and it's like a train, right? You know, once that train starts moving, it's hard to stop it. But man, getting it started, whoo-hoo, takes some work. It takes some work, and that's what we're doing. We're building. Peter says, the global work from home experiment? Yeah, right. Brian says, are Mecha Decals still being reprinted, or is it all old stock that's available? Yeah, dude, it's all old stock that's still available at this point. We haven't had any reprints in years at this juncture. So, you know, we bought sheets in bulk. I think like 2,000 sheets each. You know, each design, each scale, each color, 2,000 a piece. So we had a really, you know, good amount of stock and everything. That was the best price point, you know, for us to, you know, invest the money in and everything. So, yeah, that's all previous stock and all that's out there still currently. So, yep. Let's see. Brian says I guess I gotta stock up. LOL. Love the crispy warning signs. Right? Yeah. From what I understand, there's still good stock left. So I wouldn't worry too much at this point. So, let's see. Pete says that can have been a fun bill to pay. Yeah, well, yeah, it's one of those things. Luckily, I have Adam and USA Gundam Store as partners in on this thing, so you know, they helped out a lot, and I can't. There's no way I can thank Adam enough. You know, for his help in that endeavor and everything. So, but yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's good to have friends. It's good to have friends. So, and Adam's one of the best, man. He's such a good dude. Anyway, all right, let's get back on this thing. What do we got? 136. Okay, so we still got some time. All right, so now then, we've got our surfaces flattened, filled. That's the most important thing. We got those voids filled, so that's all now one flat piece. Now, I need to kind of figure out what I want to do here with this area, because what I was thinking, and now I'm kind of having maybe a little bit of a change of heart. What I was thinking of is putting a strip of 1 mil here to separate the surfaces, but now that I look at this and think about it, I don't want to do that. So I want to leave this surface here plain, just plain Jane, but then do some transitional plating onto maybe this surface here, and then kind of call that a day. I think I'll have to think about that. I think I'll have to think about it. I'll give it a think. Now, what I do want to do is kind of plate right here to block in that step block for the fuel pods and everything. So, ruler. What's the width on this? That's 5 and some change. Now, we don't have 5 and some change strip. We got 6 and some change, so we're gonna have to cut that down a wee bit, or alternatively, we can, yeah, we'll just use a thinner strip and turn it vertically. How about that? And we can fill that in there. Yeah, so that'll look good. All right, let's do that. Now, we're gonna get the chopper in here. Get to the chopper. All right. Get the stop block right there. Now, what did I say? About 5 and some change, I think. 5.5-ish. 5.5-ish. All right, so let's go 5.5-ish. Right about there. Lock that in. Oh, no, need that over there. That one over there. All right, so let's make sure this end is nice and square. And boom. All right, now let's see what this looks like here. It's a bit too wide, so we need to Just nudge that in just a hair. Lock that back into place. Let's cut another one here. Now it's a bit too short. What the shit? All right. Figures. All right, let's try that. Sometimes you just gotta trial and error the width here. Little longer. Still need a little longer piece. Ooh, there we go. There we go. That's good. That's nice and snug right there. Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah. That's perfect. That's nice and snug. That's nice and snug. Excellent. All right. So that's good. Now then, what we need to do is get this thing fixed into place and then start plating up some of these, this other kind of feature here. So, get a little dab of super glue started. Come on, get in there. What the hell? Oh, bastard. This is not going to plan. Yeah, now it's stuck to my damn finger. Oh boy. There we go. There we go. Now we got it. Now we got it. Ay, ay, ay. All right, after we just made a mess of things. All right. Whew, jeez. Well, that was an ordeal. All right. Let's get this kicked. have to reapply the glue here. It filled in pretty good, actually. That's not bad. All right, so let's do file across here. What I'm doing, or what I did, was added more super glue on here, basically to help taper this down and fill in any voids here. Now I'm going to go back and smooth this in and make this look like one, you know, solid, cohesive piece. All right. Get the larger. This is called a bastard file, and it's just, you know, it's a flat file. And I like using this in certain applications, especially something like this where some of the smaller files are not wide enough to kind of touch the whole surface, you know. So let's see. It's starting to look pretty good. We did lose a little detail right in this section here that I'm going to have to go back and kind of rescribe and everything, but that's, you know, it's not a huge deal, but that got us a good portion of the way there. So now I'm just going to switch back to the God Hand file here. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. A little bit more. Yeah, see, now that's perfect. So basically what is going on here is the plate is not, you know, when I glued in the plate, it wasn't level at the same angle as this surface here, right? This surface. So I use super glue on the more shallow end up here to, one, fill in the gaps, but then also, two, to bring that surface level up to this surface. So right in here, it's all still super glue over top of that part, or, you know, over the top of that strip, but right in here where it's a little more pronounced, or where it was, this is all bare plastic here, but then it graduates up to you know, just being super glue and everything, and that's really nice and smooth. And that's, you know, one of the beauty parts about using super glue, is that you can use it as kind of a filler in those thin situations where you know, your putties and things like that are just not gonna work. So that's why I like good old Mr. Bob Smith super glues. All right, let's get caught up here. Let's see. Todd says I'm going to have to order some plot plating to fix my Zaku warrior. Oh man. Measure once, cut twice, measure none, cut 20 even time. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did measure, but, you know, with such slight tolerances, it's tough. Andrew says, details, not decals. What? I don't know. Kelvin says, later, see ya on the next stream. Ramjet out! Kelvin, take care, buddy. Let's see, Pete, he says, what you're hearing is the mating call of the gray-furred, frustrated model builder. Usually a very docile species, but when frustrated like this, it has been known for its vicious ankle bites. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Pete says, later, Kelvin. Later, Kelvin, from Andrew. Brian says, hey, Tim, what's your favorite Katoki design? Who else inspires you like him? Whew, that's a question. Number one, that's a question. My favorite Katoki design. Ooh, that's a tough one. It's probably a tie between his version of the Granddad, the OG Gundam, the RX-78, which is superb. I love his take on it. Just the overall proportions, the feet design, the head design, especially the shoulders that he used, that he used on the GMC, which is also another very, very superior design that he did. I loved that. And then, like I said, it's kind of a tie between the Granddad / GMC and his Zeta Plus. Those two, I think, are probably my top tier, Katoki designs. But, he has so many wonderful takes on different mobile suits. It's hard to really say what your favorite is. But, for me, those two probably stand out more than anything. Yeah, those are just, in my opinion, those are just superior. So, yeah, I would say those two. Now, in terms of any other designers, let's see. Emerson Tung is superb. He is the author of the Tank Head book. Let me go camera one and I'll show you. Tank Head. Awesome stuff. I've showed this on stream before, but yeah, it's different takes, kind of a World War II-ish theme to, kind of mobile suits and everything. And he does obviously tanks. That's what he got started with here. But then he's also done, as you can see on the back, he's done, jets and planes, different tanks, and then ships and stuff too, which is just, it's inspired work. It really, really is. And one of my favorite artists. One of my favorites. Aside from that, another really, really great artist. Let's see, where is it? Right here. That is awesome. Again, I've showed this on stream, but Ismo Juki, Industrial Divinities, 2017. Like I said, I've shown this book. His whole kind of mechanical design on, autonomous robots and everything. His modular design, Oh, hey, there we go. Genova VT, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the family. Thank you for watching as well. So, but yeah, Ismajuki's mechanical design on autonomous robots is amazing. He goes with kind of a modular design for all of his robots and things like that. So he starts off with a different core, and then you can put basically different limbs, purpose-built limbs, you know, for whatever, you know, your thing is. You know, some of them are wheeled, tracked, legs, the whole 9 yards. And then based off of, again, your use case, you can put different head units on there too. This one is just kind of a, you know, kind of a drone-ish looking droid. Some have, you know, construction, you know, units that you can put on here. Some have delivery units and things like that. Like, it runs the gamut. But Ismajuki, very, very inspired work. Really, really good. And then also too, let's see here. This is Navan Chanthara. This is his book. Dreaming in Mech. Again, extremely inspired, awesome work. And more kind of on the artistic side of things. Nice little kind of helmet design there with the skull, you know, teeth motif and everything. All sorts of different stuff. You know, that's kind of more kind of horror gothic take on things, but he also does, you know, I guess more realistic. Like, this is his bipod tank that he's done different takes on. Really good stuff there. And you know, he'll do character designs and things, all sorts of stuff. Really amazing artist. So like, this this is good. This guy holding on for dear life over here on his like robot horse thing, whatever. But yeah, dude's holding on for it. So Navan Chanthara, Dreaming in Mech, is the name of this book. Really good stuff there. And let's see. What else can we show you guys? Trying to see what else we got here that I can show you. So here's a good one. This is more of a anthology book, a collection of, you know, different works and things like that. This is Nothing But Mech, and this is actually a series. There's 4 books in this series, and you can get these on Amazon. That's where I got mine. And the author of these, Lauren Wood, I follow him on Instagram, Lorin, Lauren Wood. But again, this is just a collection of, you know, mech designs and things like that from different artists. Let's see, this one. Trying to here we go. Yeah, so this is from Carlo Arellano, and just really good stuff all the way around. And at the bottom here, I don't know if it showed or not, some really nice weapon designs and things like that. So, you know, I take inspiration from all this types of stuff. Let's see. Ooh, this is a good one. This is by Elliot Lilly. Again, you know, combat platform mech. Different takes on this side here, and then final render on this side here. Just really, really cool looking stuff. Almost, you know, something that you would see kind of like in, you know, Aliens or something like that. Same thing here with these like exoskeleton suits. Really cool designs and everything. And then, sheesh, you got your heavy, super heavy suit design, which is awesome. This is book 1, and like I said, they have 4 different books, and just really, really amazing artists. And then you have just kind of funny shit like your basketball shooting mech, you know, because why not, right? We all need a basketball shooting mech. But yeah, nothing but mech. This is from Design Studio Press. Really good book series. Like I said, you can get them on Amazon, things like that. I'm not 100% sure if all 4 of them are still in publication or not, but man, get what you can, because they're so totally worth it. I love art books and, you know, mech design books and things like that. I get a lot of inspiration from those things. I'll just thumb through them, and yeah, they're really good. Anyway, 2 o'clock. Let's get caught up in the chat, and then we're going to punch the clock for today. Andrew says, I'm so glad I wasn't holding anything sharp when I read that. Right? Peter says, was I putting you in danger, Andrew? Hey, Andrew says, just slightly, right? Andrew says, you missed my comment above the details, not decals, Tim. Oh, did I? Okay. Oh, here, I guess this is, I'm cleaning the parts for the Rick Diaz still, and I find myself at a loss as to what to paint the power cable details. Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. Bill's back. He says, Soundwave superior, Insecticons inferior. Right. There he is. Howdy, folks. I'm back. Nice. Let's see. Peter says, I can't remember if I have asked this before. Sorry if I have. What is the consensus on the new high-grade Gundam Helix? I think it is a very welcomed, more utilitarian weapons platform-looking design. So I get these mixed up. So there's 2. There's the one from the game, and I don't know what that's called, and then there's the one from the anime, which I thought was the Arax or whatever. But I don't know which is which, and, you know, all that. Now, the one from the game, it's okay. It's a bit bulky, and I think the design itself is a bit too busy in comparison to, you know, obviously your more traditional Gundam designs. Now, the one from, the game one, yeah. So there you go, Peter. Yeah, the game one, I think it's a little too busy. It's not bad. I don't hate it, but I think it needs a bit of simplification. I think they packed 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, so to speak. There's a lot going on, and there's not a lot of space for your eye to rest in terms of the design, in my opinion. I think the design for whatever the Arax or whatever is the anime one is named Zero. Oh, cool. Thank you, Bill. So the Zero, I think, is probably, you know, my more favorite design between the 2. You know, it's a little bit more simplistic. It is a little bit more elegant in terms of the shapes and the lines and things like that. And I like the overall proportions of it better. Evidently, the gentleman who designed that was the same guy who did the newer Ultraman designs, like the Netflix series and everything, which I love. I love those designs. They are really, really good. So I don't hate that. I like the design of the Zero, quite a lot. And yeah, I think it looks good. But the what's it called? Helix. There we go. The Helix, yeah, it's a bit bulky. It's a bit overdone, in my opinion. So, yeah. Let's see, Genova VT over there on Twitch. They say planning to customize a high-grade Destroy Gundam to maybe enter my country's GBWC. Any tips you have in mind to make tackling this task easier? Whoo! That's a question. We have a question. Excuse me. That's a big question. There's a lot of moving parts in that question. I guess the best thing that I would say is, number one, start with basic fundamental questions. So in terms of, kind of what I mean by that is, what's your theme going to be, right? What is going to be the overarching direction of what your build is going to look like? After that, do you have an overall silhouette in mind of kind of the shape of the final product, right? Is it going to be a diorama? Is it going to be a, kind of a standalone display piece? Those are two, important considerations to take into. What style, of building are we going to do? Are we going to do anime? Are we going to stick with kind of the anime style, maybe artsy, something like that? Or are we going to get super detailed? Those are all questions that, need to be considered at that point, before you can even start touching plastic, in my opinion. You have to have a game plan in mind, before you get into building that will lead you toward that final goal, right? And, the one other thing to keep in mind is that, that initial idea is rarely, if ever, going to translate perfectly to the final piece. There's always going to be deviations. There's always going to be offshoots and things like that. All of that. So you have to kind of go with the flow, so to speak. But those are all questions that you got to ask and answer yourself before you even touch a piece of plastic, in my opinion. The Destroy Gundam, that's a big boy, So, obviously you got to be prepared to tackle a bigger project like that. So, yeah, all of those questions are going to need to be precursors before you do anything in terms of building the kit and customizing it and all of that good stuff. And obviously, I can't answer those questions for you, but yeah, those are all things that need to be taken in consideration. After that, you want to, kind of take into thought about, supplies that you're going to need. Are you going to need plastic strip? Are you going to need plastic sheet? Epoxy putty, different glues, different option parts, decals and designs, paint, primer, all of it. So you kind of need to think ahead of, okay, what kind of materials and what kind of stock am I going to need too? All of this pre-planning is crucial, in my opinion, to a quality build. So those are all things that need to be thought about and need to be figured out. Like I said, before you even crack that box open. So I hope that helps. But then have at it and go just crazy and get creative and just get nuts with different details and things like that. Look at different artists for inspiration, and not just Gunpla builders and stuff like that. Look at mechanical designers, like the books that we showed a little bit earlier. Look on websites like artstation.com at their different categories and things like that, and try to get inspiration from concept art, video game art, character design, mechanical design, even things as mundane as your everyday electronics, and automobile design and things like that. You can take like different lines and different shapes and kind of reconfigure that onto something that you're building. That's kind of what we're doing here with the Hyaku Shiki. The theme is speed, and trying to make this thing look faster, right? So all of those things are things you got to think about. So Genova, I hope that helps. Let's see. Peter says, I love these more clunky utilitarian designs, not the slick, streamlined, arty designs of Gundams in general. I get that. Yeah, everybody's got kind of their, different preferences. I totally get it. So I would imagine, things like Armored Core, things like that are probably kind of more in your in your lane, I would say. Things like Gasaraki and stuff like that, maybe like Macross, things, type of those things. And don't get me wrong, love those too. I don't know. I'm a sucker for a Gundam. I can't lie. Brian says, awesome. I finally got all of the Ver-Ed. Oh, nice. The E-Day books. Sweet. He's such a good designer. Bill says, got to remember the name of that cyberpunk mech design book. Okay, Bill. Yep, Aftermarket Store. Yeah. Oh God, what's the guy's name? Because I follow him actually on. I actually follow him on Instagram, and I would love to get that book. Brian Sum. Yeah, that's the artist name, Brian Sum. Yeah, he's great too. He is great too. Man, the special edition is still in stock. Standard's sold out. That sucks. $40 compared to almost 60. Eesh. Man, I can't afford that right now. But still, it's stupid good work. So yeah. Let's see. Todd says, we'll see how the game will be when it comes out. Yeah. Gio says, pick a smaller kit. The Destroy is too big. Oh man. Nah. I like that Genova is tackling, a big swing, because that is a big swing. Let's see. Helix makes me think of a guy from the Bomb Squad. Yeah. Right? Kind of that big, kind of bulky look to it. Yeah, no, I agree with that, Bill. I agree with that. Todd says later, I'll get the Destroy Gundam to add to my Seed Destiny collection. There you go. Bill says, found it. Check this out before you leave today. Yeah, the aftermarket store.com. It's good stuff. Let's see. The Cassie is big as well. Zai, whatever, yeah. Jehovah says that helps a lot. Cheers. Oh, cool. Well, awesome. If you do have any other questions, feel free to ask Jehovah. That's what we're here for. Bill says Brian something. Yeah, Brian some. Geo says, even though it's called the High Grade Destroy Gundam, I haven't seen people painting it. Oh, I have. I've seen several done up, and they all look really good. Big boy. Big boy. Swanky says, I hope everyone had a good day. You too, Swanky. And then Bill says, okay, you want big? Do the high-grade Neo Zeon, the size of a freaking table. Oh, dude, right? That's crazy. Real quick before we punch out, Brian, I know you, at the tail end of last night's stream, you had said you had a question that you were going to send me. So, yeah, message me, dude. Message me. Message me, my dude. So, but yeah, Brian says back to work later, guys. Brian, take care, buddy. Take care. Anyway, that's where we're going to punch the clock for today, kids. I'll be back tomorrow night. We'll finish the week strong. So come on back for that. Be a part of the night crew, answer the question of the day, all that good stuff. And then, as always, go get you some... Hell yeah. And then also, if you're into the shirts and stuff like that, shop.childofmecha.com. We've got shirts, hats, hoodies, stickers. Stickers are a big one. Posters, all of it. Go support your boy. There's really some good stuff in there, especially the Blue Bone Squad. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that for Bill. The Blue Bone Squad insignia is up there right now. That came out with the new drop last week, so go get you some. But aside from that, kids, have a wonderful rest of your day. Be safe out there, and most importantly, build something cool. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Stay tuned for the end credits, and I'll see you later. Bye.